Hello everyone, welcome to JCE eConnect. Subject Operations Research, Module 5. So in today's lecture, we'll be discussing about topic of game theory. In the previous lecture, we have learned about what is the theory behind this games or also known as competitive strategies or game theory. And also we learned about the characteristics of games. There were 8 characteristics that we learned about the game theory. Now in today's lecture, we'll be covering the topic of game models, what are the different types of game models, and a few important terms, definitions, and their meanings. What do they convey? So, these definitions will be very important as in when we solve problems in the subsequent lectures. And along with these basic terminologies and their meanings, we'll also be learning about two-person zero-sum game. Now, to start off with, there are three basic types of game models, that is number of persons is one of the game model, and sum of payoff and number of strategies. Now number of person is in a game, in any given game, of course there can be multiple players involved. These players can be competitors or opponents, you name whatever you want to, right? So this number of person, if a game involves only two people or a player or two opponent, then it is called two-person game. And if there are more than two player, of course it is, let's say, n-person game. And n-person game does not imply that exactly n players are involved in it. It can be more or less. Rather, it means that the participants can be classified into n mutually exclusive groups, and with all members in a group, let's say, having identical interests, that is to win, mostly to win. Fine. So in sum of payoff, if the sum of payoff here is nothing but the gains and losses, or profit or loss, or gains or lose. Okay, so if the sum of all the payoffs to the player, to a specific player, is zero, then the game is called as zero sum or constant sum game. Either zero sum or constant sum game, they mean the same. Or otherwise, that is, if the sum of payoff is not resulting into zero, then it is a non-zero sum game. Now the third game model can be the number of strategies. Strategies is nothing but that if the number of moves or choices. So here the moves or a choices, let's take an example of a chess. So any specific move or a specific choice with respect to pieces on the chess, it can be called as a strategy. So if the number of strategies is finite, the game is called as a finite game, which is mostly the case. But if the number of strategies is not finite, then it is called an infinite game. Uh, there are hardly very few games which have infinite game strategies, but otherwise, mostly the games have finite moves or choices or finite strategies. That's why they are called as finite games. Okay. Now, coming on to few of the basic terminologies involved in the game theory. A game, as you all know, it can be called as an activity uh, between two or more people, which basically involves few actions by each of the player, uh, with according to some set of rules. Right? Every game has their own specific rules. Now, this can result into some positive or negative or zero. Now, this positive, negative, or zero is called a gain. Now, if a if in a game the actions are determined by skills, for example, in the game of chess itself, if the action is determined by skills, then it is called a game of strategy. You take any game which involves skills, it can be called as a game of strategy. If they are determined by chance, it is termed as game of chance. Fine. Now, you can, for example, if chess can be called as a game of strategy, and let's say Ludo or Snake Ladder can be called as a game of chance, because if uh, the dice, the values on the dice, uh, they are just a chance. There is no skill involved. There is no strategy that is involved, right? So it is uncertain. It is not determined. If they are determined by a chance, then it is called. It is termed as game of chance. Now, further, there are few games which can be finite and few games which can be infinite, like I discussed in my previous slide, right? So a finite game has a finite number of moves, and infinite uh, game has infinite number of moves or choices, which are very rare. There are very few games which makes use of which actually has finite infinite number of moves or choices. Talking about the player, you all know it can be a participant or a competitor, or it can be a, if it is a group, a game, a group event, then groups involved in a particular game, competition will be there in the pairs of the group, or whatever the demand of the game is, depending on that. But in the each player is equally intelligent and rational in the approach. That is the assumption that is there, that each player has to be equally intelligent, right? Now, third point, that is play. A play is nothing but a play of a game, is occurrence, that a play of the game is said to occur when each player chooses one of his course of action. So any movement or any uh, you know uh, proceeding in the game can be, any event in the game can be called as an occurrence. So that is called a play. Strategy, self-explanatory again. Strategy is nothing but the predetermined rule by which a player decides his course of action from his or her own list of courses of action that is available in the game. Right. To decide a particular strategy, the player need not know the other strategies. Right. Please make a note of this. To decide a particular strategy, the player need not know the other's strategy. His or her own strategy can be different. Right. Right. Now, what is a pure strategy? Pure strategy is, it is the decision rule to always select a particular course of action. A particular course of action. It is usually represented by a number with with which the course of action is associated. I will take an example in our coming subsequent slides. It will be more clear. But all in all, in broad terms, pure strategy is nothing but if it is the decision rule to always select a particular course of action, right? A particular course of action, and it is usually represented by a number, right? The number with which the course of action is associated. Fine. Now, mixed strategy. Mixed strategy, again, it is a decision in advance of all plays. But the only thing is here, the decision, it is the probability distribution. It is not as pure as it was in the pure strategy, in, uh, in the pure strategy scenario. But in a mixed strategy, the decision is in advance of all plays uh, to choose a course of action for each play in accordance with some probability distribution. Thus, this mixed strategy is a selection among pure strategies with some fixed probability. Right. So the advantage of this particular mixed strategy is that after the pattern of the game has become evident, once the pattern in the game is evident or it is very certain, then this is that opponent are kept guessing to which course of action will be adopted by a player. Okay, so because here the probability distribution takes into comes into picture. It's a mixture, right? Okay, moving on to the next slide. The seventh important definition is the optimal strategy. Now, being learned about the pure strategy, the mixed strategy. Now, what can be called as an optimal strategy? Optimal strategy, any the strategy that uh, puts the player in the most preferred position or uh, a wanted position, a player in which the position in which the player wants to be in, right? So that strategy, the strategy that puts the player into the most preferred position, irrespective of the strategy of his opponents, is called an uh, optimal strategy. Right. So any player, any specific player, if he or she wants to be at a particular place in the game, irrespective of the strategies played by the opponent, then that strategy can be called as an optimal strategy. Right. Now, what if there is no movement or no strategy that leads to the optimal, or there is if there is a movement or an occurrence taken place in the game which is not leading to the optimal strategy, then which is nothing but a deviation, any deviation, then that deviation from this optimal strategy would reduce the player's payoff. Right. Now, what is the payoff that we discussed? If you can recall from our previous lecture, payoff is nothing but the uh, gains or losses. It can be the gains can be positive or negative or zero, right? So it the payoffs will get reduced if the strategy is not leading to an optimal strategy, and in turn it is getting deviated. Fine. Now, what is zero sum game? Zero sum game can be it is a game in which the sum of all the payments to all the players. Now, payments is nothing but the payoffs here to all the players after the play of the game is zero, right? So it is a game in which the sum of payments, this payments is nothing but the payoff, right? So sum of payments to all the players after the play of the game, that is after the occurrence of the game or after the movement in the game, is zero. Then it can be called as a zero sum game. Fine. Just to give an example, like in such game wherein there is a zero sum game, the gain of the players that win is exactly equal to the loss of the player that lose. So the player which is winning, that margin or that payoff will be equal to the margin of the player which has lost the game. Right? I repeat it once again. In such game, the gain of a player that win is exactly equal to the loss of the player that lose the game. Example, like two candidates uh, of election, you can say two candidate fighting for elections, wherein the gain of votes by one of uh, uh, the gain of votes by one any one computer or candidate is the loss of the votes to the other, right? For example, if there are a fixed number of you know voters, let's say 500 voters, so if a particular candidate is gaining some 300 votes, then it is actually loss to the second candidate. Those 300 votes is a loss to the second candidate, right? So that can be called as a zero sum game. Now, what is this two-person zero sum game? It's very important. Again, this example is very important. Two-person game, a two-person zero sum game. Two-person zero sum in two-person zero sum game. The game involves, as the name suggests, only two-person, but in which the gain of one player equal to the loss to the other. So it is the combination. You can see that what we discussed in the zero sum game, that in case of the voter example of the voter, that the gain of one player that wins is exactly equal to the loss of player that loses, right? So same is the case here, but here only two-person, when only two-person are involved. For example, let's say there's an election to be happened for a seat, for one single seat, and there are only two candidates for that particular seat. That can be an example of a two-person zero-sum game. So I repeat, in two-person zero-sum game, it is a game involving only two-person, in which the game gain of one player equals to the loss of the other player. Okay, so this type of game, zero-person zero-sum, a two-person zero-sum game, is also sometimes called as a rectangular game or matrix game. Fine. Now, the why it is called as a rectangular game or matrix game is because the payoff matrix is in the rectangular form. We'll take an example in a short while, how this matrix is performed and how the calculation is done. But the form of the matrix is formed in the rectangular font. That's why it is known as a rectangular game also. Now, as the name suggests, two-person zero-sum game. So, if there are more than two people involved, let's say n number of players, then this same can be called as n-person zero sum game. But for our syllabus, we'll just stick to the two-person zero-sum game, because according to our syllabus, uh, only two-person zero-sum game has to be studied. Okay. Now, there are few important characteristics of a two-person zero-sum game. Since we are going to learn this two-person zero-sum game in a little depth, we'll understand few more characteristics. That is, first one is, of course, it has to be involved. Only two-person has to be involved strictly, and each player has a finite number of strategies to use. Right? Uh, a, sh- a while ago, I gave you an example of how infinite game. What is an infinite game? Infinite game is wherein the number of strategies is not limited. It is unlimited. It is infinite. But for a two-person zero-sum game, it is mandatory that it is one of the characteristics that each player has a each player in a game has a finite number of strategies to use. Now, third characteristics is each specific strategy results in a payoff. So every specific strategy will result into either gains or loss. That is the payoff. Fourth characteristics is the total payoff to the two players, both the players, at the end of each play or each movement, or each occurrence, you can say, the total payoff to the both the players, two players, at the end of each play is zero. That is the characteristics of a two-person zero-sum game. Okay. Now moving on to some other. Okay. Here is one example. Let's finish out with the example. Then we'll discuss two more definitions. Another example, a simple example with respect to a coin, head and tail. Like if the uh, coin matching situation is there, and there are two players involved, let's say player A and B, Each of the two player A and B selects a head or a tail. That are the two possible options. So you can say they are the two possible strategies, right? Uh, if the outcome matches, that is the both the player, if they get head and head or tail and tail, then player A wins. Okay, that is the condition here. That if that is the you can say objective or a final goal here of the game. That if the outcome matches the strategies, that is both the heads, both the player gets heads or both the player gets tails, then player A wins rupee one. Okay, from the player B. So player B has to lend rupee one to player A. Otherwise, player A loses and player A have to give rupee one to player B. That is either head or tail and head. If that match comes, then player B wins and player A has to pay rupee 1 to player B. Now, each player has two strategies here, that is head or tail. It is like you can see here in the diagram that it is represented in the form of a matrix, right? So, it is a 2 by 2 game matrix, a 2 by 2 game matrix that is expressed in terms of payoff to player A. So, this is player A's uh, strategy, that is head, and tail has been mislocated. Here it's the tail. Okay, or let's say, okay, fine. So not a problem. These are the possible strategies for player A, that is head and tail. Okay, right, and player B's strategies are here, head and tail. Now you can see here the if player A has to win, the match has to be either both head or both tail. So which is possible either here or either here. So any of the two strategies, if the match after tossing the coin we get this match, player A wins. Otherwise, in case of other situation which is I'm representing in the form of a square here, any of these two strategies, then player B wins. Right. So this is just an example of a two-person zero-sum game. So ultimately, the payoff matrix for player A, that is player A's gain, is represented by this matrix. Okay, fine. Now, having said about the ninth definition, two-person zero-sum game, let's now discuss about the third definition, that is non-zero-sum game. Non-zero sum game is, as the name suggests, the sum of the payoff is not a zero. For example, let's say here I have taken example here, a third party, let's say example of a house or a kitty party receives or makes some payment, and a payoff matrix for such a game can be represented by this 2 by 2 matrix, and the left hand side, the left hand entry, the left hand entry in each cell is a payoff to A, right? So here this is the payoff to A and this is the payoff to B. Okay, so the left hand side entry in each cell is the payoff to A and the right hand side entry is payoff to B. Now please note that in a non-zero sum game, the what you can say, the play combination uh, of one by one, that is one by one is first row, first column, which is the value 2 by 2, and the sum of place of 2 by 2, that is this column, right? This cell, sorry. Yeah, 1 by 1 and 2 by 2. These two, first row, first column, and second row, second column. The play combination of these two, first row, first column, and second row, second column, the sums of the payoffs are not equal to zero. That's what the game suggests. The characteristics of this game suggests, that is the uh, play combination of 1 comma 1 and 2 comma 2, which are the values indicated here in circular. The play combination of this 1 comma 1 and 2 comma 2, the sums of the payoffs are not equal to zero. Okay, so 11th definition, that is the payoff. It is the payoff, like we discussed earlier. It is the outcome of the ultimately it is the outcome of the game, that can be a gain or a loss, right? So it is a payoff gain or a payoff loss. So the matrix representation of this can be called as a payoff gain or game matrix. Now what it does, it is the it is a kind of a table or a matrix that shows the amount received by the player named at the left hand side after all possible plays of the game. The payment is made by player named at the top of the table. So that is called the payoff, payoff table or a payoff matrix. Fine. So that is all for today's discussion. To just to give a brief idea about what uh, what all important topics that fall category wise, that falls under this thing. This is just a diagram, that a, uh, a block diagram which gives you a fair idea about what is this game theory, what are the subcategories that fall under some categories, right? So game theory, which is nothing but competitive situations, as we discussed earlier, have two basic strategies, that is pure strategy and mixed strategy. Pure strategy, we have example like saddle point, which we'll be discussing in our next lectures, in the coming lectures. And in the mixed strategies, we have another subcategories, that is 2 by 2 strategies game by arithmetic method, by graphical method, and third one is by linear programming method. So these topics will cover in the subsequent lectures. And for today's lecture, that's it. If you have any doubts, any queries, you can ask either in the comment section down below or in the WhatsApp group. You can ping me personally or in the group. Anything is fine. So that's all for today's lecture. Thank you. Have a nice day.